Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Jo Wilson and I teach art at Art for All in Chelsea, which is a little village in South Oxfordshire. Today I'm going to be doing some abstract art using some new medium that I have ordered, and I'm also starting with a colour palette from Sarah Renae Clark's Colour Catalogue Volume 2. I've chosen this colour palette, which is 298, because I like the colours here and because I've got new medium which has happened to have these colours within it. And the medium I'm using today, I'm using some Tempera paint sticks from Shuttle Art. And I'm also using some Caran Neocolor 2. And I'm also using some Stabilo woodies. So the colour palette I've chosen has silver, burnt sienna, which I think actually looks a little bit more like peach, and orange, a crimson and black. So what I'm going to do first of all, I've got a little scrap of paper here. That's just some leftover packaging from an order from Jackson's Art. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check that I've got the right colours that match this colour palette, just doing a little bit on this scrap. So that's the silver. This one is like a peachy sort of a colour. This one, orange. And this is the crimson. It's a bit more redder than the crimson, I think, but it will still do. And the black. And then what I've done for each of the mediums, I've just also included a white in that because I think you just need a bit of white with stuff. So for the Caran the Neo colours, I've got a light grey and a grey instead of the silver, whereas in the woodies that actually had silver, so that's kind of in lieu of the silver. And then I've got this colour, which is salmon, and scarlet, not quite crimson, but it'll do. And then I've got something for the orange. I've actually chosen vermilion. It's quite red compared to the orange, but I thought it was kind of in between the two, so I've gone for that one. And the black already got a bit broken off of it, and like I said, I included a white. And so these are the Tempera sticks. They don't have colours on them when you get them, so it's always a good idea to kind of write numbers on them, and then you can see from your swatch what they're going to look like. So these are like really creamy. I've got two colours that are kind of like that peach colour, one that's lighter and one that's darker. Some of these are from their pastel range, some of these are from their ordinary range. Silver already been used, as you can see. And then this one, this is the orange, a bit see-through. And I've got two reds. This one says metallic. It's actually quite transparent. And then I've got another red. This is more opaque. And again, the black. And the white. Oh, it's a bit grubby. And I'm using, so the woodies came with a sharpener, and they also came with a paintbrush, and because it's nice and new, I'm using that. And then I just have like a ceramic palette, and then I reuse a lot of stuff. This is like a reused plastic cup that was for a party, just for the water, the paint water. So when I am trying to plan some abstract art to do, I often try and think about sources of inspiration. So for this particular one, I have made a sources of inspiration little board, And what I do with these is I find pictures of things in magazines, this is from Interiors magazines, that I think kind of, if I cut them out in such a way, you wouldn't be able to tell what they are. And so the particular one that I enjoyed from this little board that I made was this one here, which I think looks like a bit of sculpture and is possibly a bit of a curtain. I don't know. Anyway, I've drawn that out, as you can see here. So that's this one. And I've drawn that one out in some charcoal pastels and chalks. And I really like this because I really like the direction and the energy, and you can't really tell what it is, but it still looks really good. So I'm deciding to take this further using this palette of colours. I'm going to redraw this on my sheet of paper I have here, and I'm going to try and recreate this, but using the colours. So let's put that somewhere we can see it. Okay, so, oh, it's totally falling down every 5 seconds. Right, so I'm going to start here. I think the best thing to do is to start with the thicker medium. So I'm going to use the Tempera sticks, and I'm going to start with my lighter colours. I'll start with these two kind of peachy colours, and I can put in here the main part of this. It starts around here. And I'm going to put quite a lot in to begin with, because I want to cover a good amount. Other smaller medium are going afterwards. And I don't care about going all the way to the edges, because if I do decide to frame this, I'm going to obviously get a mount that covers over the edges, so that doesn't really matter. Put a little bit here. Oh, of course. And I'm going to hold it. And put a little bit over this side. And something goes there as well, so I'm going to cover that in. Right, so that's a good little bit of a background layer there. I'm going to use this slightly darker peach next. So I'm putting in this colour here, and you want to keep the energy going. Make sure that you cover a lot of it. Not too much depth there. Moving up the colours from the lighter to the darker, I think we need to go in with some orange now. And I can see that I've got a bit of this medium, because you can see it's kind of a medium tone. When you're converting from black and white to colour, you need to think about things in terms of what value they've got, what tonal value. So I'm just going to pop that in, and here work into the edges a bit more. So it's going really well so far. Let's go in with some red. This is the more opaque red, and then I think I might do a little bit more of the less opaque red over the top. So I want to get some marks going through it. So a really nice colour palette. It's like really, really warm. I'm going to blend some of the bits here with this less opaque red. And the good thing about these Tempera sticks is they're really creamy, so they do blend really nicely from one colour to the next. And don't feel like, oh, that's over, I can't put any more light on that now, because you can. And certainly that's why I have the white, so that we can go over with a bit of white as well. These Tempera sticks, they're really odd. They're meant for kids. They're kind of like drawing with lipstick. It's the best I can describe it as. So here's some white. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to do black first, then do white. So the really dark darks, if we have a look back to our original, got some dark here, dark here, dark here, and we're going to try and pop those dark darks in. And don't worry too much about any page showing, because that will get sorted once we get a little bit more of an extra layer on the top and get some water going on here. So some light there, and oh, really scratching the paper. This colour going up here, and just a little bit of shot through there in white. Looking really nice so far. I'm pretty happy with that. I want to get a little bit more mark, a bit more direction in. The only thing we didn't use was silver. So let's pop some silver. I feel like we've not got much going on here. And I'm going to blend in a little bit of the black. Still want some of the marks to really show though, so not too much. And then across here into that swing there, up the side here. Nice. Right, let's have a look. I don't know what the woodies are going to go like, what they're going to be like when we put them on. I think the best thing to do is start with the darkest one. Oh, they do draw on quite nicely. I quite like the effect. There we go. Noisy, aren't they? That's scratchy. I like that. I like the looseness of the mark, the immediacy of it. It creates this really energetic line that we're trying to make here in our work. Good. But I don't know what the other colours are going to go like. Let's have a look at this orange. See what we get. So there's a mid-tone across here. They don't come on as dark, do they, as the black? But we're getting some marks here. Let's get a bit of that in there, a bit of mid-tone. Not bad, but we don't get a lot of mark on. Let's go for this really peachy colour, because I've noticed that when I'm drawing with the woodies, it does show up if I've got white bits or edges. So let's just see if we can put some marks in with that too. I'm trying to create that draped kind of a look. Yeah, not bad. I wonder if the red will show up better. Let's try and resolve that, because that's a bit wobbly, that edge. At this point, I think, I am actually losing my white a little bit, so I am just going to re-establish a little bit of white. Lovely. Okay, let's go for silver. Keep knocking the tripod, the camera's on, it's wobble. It's the first video I've done, so I'm just getting used to how it all works really, and how I can show you what it is I'm doing. Not showing up brilliantly the silver at all, so I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to have a look at these Caran dashes next, but I think probably another thing we need to do now is actually try and get some water into this. So pale areas first, as a rule, and I'm just using it to spread, and you'll see because it's water soluble, it does spread quite easily. So I'm just, again, I'm keeping it fast, I'm doing it lightly. I don't want to lose the energy, the spirit in the work, but I do want to get things knocked back a little bit so that I can carry on working over the top in my different colours. Definitely that bit there. Oh, I knocked that again. Okay, let's get that bit there. Nice. Okay. energetic, nice colour, nice movement. I like that. So let's pop that back to one side. Let's not kill our brush by leaving it sideways in the pot. Let's go to our Caran dash. And so now we're looking to establish a bit more finer edges. So we've got this mark that comes across here. Oh, it's kind of scratching off where it's a bit wet. I quite like that. That one down there. Keep this crease here in the middle. I've got to get that really clear. A little bit there. See if we can put in another colour yet, or whether we have to wait for it to dry. Oh yeah, we can. We can get a bit of orange. I think if I was to carry on with this, I'd probably just keep layering it up, getting it more and more thicker layers of different colours until it was really completely covered, because I quite like the bits where it's not, you know, it's like more opaque and you don't see quite so much of the texture of the paper behind it. So I'm trying to get a bit more coloured in. Can you see? Right, got a lot of peach going on here now. Maybe some red. And look at the vibrancy of the Caran dash. I mean, you can really tell the quality here because the other medium are a bit, you know, cheaper, and as I say, they're meant for children. So when you put the colour down, the pigment's just not very strong, and you know that's okay because they are just cheaper medium, meant for kids, not really meant for me. So that's fine. I think we need a bit more peach, and then I think we might be done. I'm going to put some back with the Tempera paint, not to be called tempura paint, so of course that is food. A bit more there. A bit more creaminess on this edge here. How are we getting on? That looks quite good. Let's have a look. Well, obviously you've got to think like you would chop the edges off so you wouldn't see any of that mess around the outside there. And I think that is the first stage done. I'm going to let this dry a bit and then come back to it. Okay, so this piece of work's had a bit of time to dry, and you'll also notice that I have turned it completely around. And the reason that I've done that is I'm just having a look at it from a different point of view. So I'm going to turn around my example that I'm starting from as well, my source of inspiration. So now we're going to have a look at doing a little bit more finer work on it now it's had a bit of time to dry. One of the things I really dislike about it is this bit where you can see the little dotty texture of the page. So that's what I'm going to start working out. And to do that, I'm going to use my Caran dash in white. So I'm just going to find any bit where it's got that, and I'm just going to actually just colour it in a little bit more. And I think the white is good because that way we can go over with more colour, but also you get quite a nice look to it. So you can see already there, that bit that I've just done is a little bit nicer because now you don't have that sort of horrible texture in it. So let's have a look at that little bit we've just done and maybe think to put more of this nice red in it. And you'll see that one of the nice things that happens is you can smooth them with your finger. And let's put a bit more of this smooth that with our finger too. I think I'm getting more red on my finger than I am on the page. There we go, that's a nice vibrancy to it. And I've got a bit of black there. That's nice. You can see how that's really vibrant now on the page. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're going to pop on next. Let's get a little bit more work here into this part here. Let's think about our colour palette, what it is we're going to put on that area. So we're going to take it sort of area by area and really brighten this thing up. But we want that original energy still in there. So maybe we'll have a look at some silver. Okay, a little bit more silver, I think. A bit there. And we can smooth it on. So it's turning more like a painting than a drawing in some of these areas now, which is what we want. Peach, maybe, in this part. And then rub it in. And see the difference now, just this piece that we've just done versus some of the other pieces, which kind of look a bit more kind of scribbly and unfinished. Although my daughter just popped in and said to me, oh, it looks like you just scribbled all over that, which essentially is what I'm doing. So let's start another bit, and instead of just using all our white, we will have a look at putting in some peach. And then same technique, I'm just going to go over the top and then smear it a bit with our finger so that we get a thicker layer. I'm trying to think, what colour have we not used a lot of? What's dominating this? What do we need? And I think orange. That's what we need. If it doesn't blend in with your finger, or the paper won't take it, well, that's lovely actually. We could just get a little bit of water on the brush and just blend it in a bit more. Let's look at the next bit. Let's do this bit here. As it's dark, I'm having a bit of a tumble tower going on over here where everything I reach for falls down. As it's dark, we'll put a darker colour in. And I think this red, can you see, it's really picking it out, it's making it contrast a lot more. Let's try and cover up some of this texture. And let's put in some orange. Get some real warmth in this corner. And then the colour I'm going to go over with is actually this darker, the darker peach. Pop that in. And blend. And that wasn't quite dark enough, and I think we need, which red is this? Oh, it's the least red one, but actually that's okay, because then we get some of that peach as well. Let's get our red Caran dash and see if we can maintain that kind of scribbly look, like my daughter called it. Bit of white in this corner. Blend. Yeah, and again, if that doesn't blend suitably with your finger, we will then just get a bit of water on our brush. So there's a bit there that hasn't. The brush is still a little bit wet from before. And we can just blend it. Doesn't need a lot of water to make it spread well. So that's enough for that bit there. Possibly just put a tiny bit of black in there, because I really want to see that difference there. That's better. We want vibrancy and we want contrast, but we want colour. Most of all, this is about trying to get something really colourful, and that's sort of the whole point really in using the Sarah Rennie Clark colour cubes, just really looking at how to get colour in there. Okay, let's try and get some of these marks gone, this time with the orange. So this is vermilion, which is actually a type of red. I would call that more like tomato, I suppose. But I think it's good. It's within this colour palette, isn't it? And let's have some orange over the top. Blendy, blendy. And I'm using those woodies less and less, but I do think we will have an opportunity to put some more over the top. Ooh, that's nice. Nice bit of colour there. Let's see if the woody helps us. It does a bit. It does a bit, because look, we can get, now it's a bit drier, we can get some really nice marks in with those woodies. I like that. I've got to press quite hard, but because they're such a stout little fellow, you can really, really press, and it actually blends as you press, which is fabulous. And if you're hearing a little woofing noise, that is of course my little dog. Have a miniature dachshund called Belly, who likes to be heard, let's put it that way. Where are these marks going to? I think actually we should just let them happen a bit now. Not worry too much about where they're meant to be. Just pop some in. Let's get a bit more orange going here. Here. That's nice. Lovely. This is reminding me of maybe in a lovely tapas restaurant. There's a beautiful painting of a lady wearing a flamenco skirt, and it almost looks like it's on fire, and it's really reminding me of that skirt. The kind of swishing and the colour and kind of sort of Spanish fiery colours. Yeah, I like it. Let's go on and pop in some more peach here to this segment, sort of taking it segment by segment. And I don't want to lose the colour, but there's no reason we can't put this lovely dark grey in, because it's actually got a bluish quality to it. Look at that lovely colour contrast. Pop a bit more of him in now I've discovered him. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's lovely. And it's got a bit of depth up here, but I don't want it to be too deep. I'm just going to do that with the black. Hey, maybe we'll go back to our, I discovered that our woodies will actually help us to blend, and they do indeed. Can't go pressing too heavy with these Caran d'Ache, because of course they'll snap. They're like sort of a crayon, if you will. I'll get that cross going across there, and let's blend in a bit of white here. And we want some lightness here, so let's go for this lovely woody and this fleshy peachy tone. And then let's have this bit being this Tempera stick, the lighter peach one here. And we can, because we've got that lovely grey, why don't we blend a bit of this silver up into it. There, nice. Starting to cover those little bits I don't like more and more. Okay, great. That's going really nicely now. Here's another patch to do. Let's keep thinking all along what needs to be there. Where have I not got in enough mid-tone? What sort of colour should it be? How do I create contrast between that bit and the last bit that I did? How do I make marks that are interesting? That's nice to keep that difference there between the pale and the darker. And I think we do need a bit of orange here again. And I'm going to blend it a little bit with my finger. And where's that one? Oh yeah, that's the one. This red here, the one that is, oh nice, it's smudged all of that. I quite like that though. You could just wipe it off. Nice. So keeping that really fiery energy going. Let's get a bit more done. Put some white in there. I don't want it to go, you know, it's going a bit mud. So just pull back with a little bit of white. And then, tumble terrace again. And then if you need to, just re-establish marks with a darker colour. And let's not forget that brilliant grey. That was so nice. Lovely. I think I've got a real swish of red along there, but I want that really opaque red. Let's get that in there. Go for that. That's lovely there, isn't it? Like drawing with lipstick, literally that red one. And when you're creating abstract art, you think about other things. You don't just think about that it's got to look like a thing and how to make it look like a thing, because that's not what's important anymore now. What's important now is things like composition and creating contrast and colour, energy. Those kind of things become the important things. You know, if I was trying to do something like really realistic, and I have a lovely friend who does the most brilliant, really realistic things. Animals mainly, she's great at it. And but that's not what we're trying to achieve. When we do abstract art, we're not trying to achieve that anymore. So you can kind of, I think it's a whole different skill altogether. And if you don't have that kind of skill where you can make something look really real, this art is for you, because it doesn't matter if you can make something look really real. It's about mark making and fun and spontaneity and colour and all these great things that you don't have to worry about the whole making it look real thing anymore, which I really enjoy. Look at this great bit of movement here in this part of the work. It's lovely. Haven't finished there. All that bit, or this whole bit along the top, and that's my favourite bit along the top, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Let's do this here. This is a bit muddy, isn't it? We've got this kind of muddy browny black going on here, which I don't want. Let's create some contrast. So let's get in there with the black Caran dash, and let's see if we can create a really dark area here. That is going to be very dark, isn't it? Maybe a bit much. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get the black and really put that in there. Like that smoothness of mark as you go along with your finger. Really nice. And Shall we try silver? Let's try silver into the black. And don't worry about using too much black. People get a bit worried about using a lot of black, but you've got to have somewhere in your image that's got a lot of contrast. That's interesting. And that's getting a bit muddy, so shall we pick up with a little bit of, where's that really opaque red? That's the one I want. There he is. A bit in with that. And a bit in there with that. And then I'm going to blend in with this guy. That's great. Now you can see like we've already picked it out of the page, whereas it was looking a little bit boring before. Let's try our red hoodie. See what happens. Yes, great amount of vibrancy comes from this. Considering that these are just meant for kids, they're really spot on, aren't they? Can you see, one of the things I do is I hold things in different ways. Sometimes I hold it like this, and then sometimes I hold it like properly, like a proper pencil, and then sometimes I will like hold it like this. Different holds create different kind of marks on the page. This is like how to really get some welly behind it. Oh yeah, I like that. Nice, created that real contrast there. Can we get in? Oh yeah, that's good. There's a bit there I'm not keen on. And those marks I put in earlier, I've also gone off. These things happen, don't they? Yeah, getting them in with a bit of a black woody is the resolution to that problem. Hang on a minute. It's gone very dark, hasn't it? Let's see if we can just... Will it work? Will it be too much? Let's see if we can do that. I hope that you're having a go on your one, that you're going to have a little bit of a paint along. Oopsie, I've actually had a bit of a paint along on my table. Whoops. Try and keep it really nice, but it is an art desk, so these things happen. Oh yeah, now I look at this. If I put a stripe of white in, that's actually quite nice, isn't it? Talking about making contrast, now we can make a pattern. The pattern could be stripes. That's actually quite nice. It feels a lot like a landscape, this piece of work. Can we get a stripe of this red in? Again, hold it at different angles, achieve different results. Can we get a bit that way? Where's that cool grey gone? I like it. This is this great grey. Can we get some marks in with him? Yes. It's not going to blend with my finger. And if you can hear meowing, of course, I have also got a cat. And her name is Margot, and she's Siamese, and she can meow very loud. So apologies if you're hearing that in my background there. A bit of a menagerie here. It's always a bit of a problem. A bit on my picture. So that's resolved that really nicely. Let's pop some stuff up here. Yep, that's good. Liking that. Yep. Look how I'm holding it. holding it like this. It's crazy. Look how much colour you get off these woodies. I find that really extraordinary. And if you're thinking like you would like to try and order some, I ordered mine from Jackson's Art in the UK, and the woodies were a really affordable price. People often thinking that the best price they're going to get is off Amazon or something like that, but I actually found the Jackson's Art had a much more affordable sets, all sorts of sets. They had a Caran Neocolor sale on. They had what I liked about their Caran sale is that because I heavily use one colour or another colour in my Caran Supercolour watercolour pencils, I was able to just order one of the black colours to replace it. So that's really good. So I've resolved basically that half of the picture, and now I'm moving down this end, and I think woodies are my friend, so I'm gonna go in here with a bit of woodies, and I'm hoping that I'm nearly done actually. So if you're painting along, I hope you're nearly done too, and you don't have to use the same colour scheme I've done. You could go have a look. Renae Clark does a couple of products which I found really useful. I use the colour catalogue because I like to have it on my tablet. But I know that she does something called a colour cube, which is equally cool, which you actually have like little cards. I know people who've bought those who are really happy with that set. Find it equally useful, and if you do a lot of colouring in and stuff like that, they're good too. I know that's what she's kind of most famous for, is her colouring in books. So I like some of the areas where I've got silver. Can you see if I wiggle it around in the light? There's a bit of silver on the page there. So I want to make sure I've definitely got some other areas of silver, that it's not my only patch of silver. Let's make sure we've got enough reflective, because we want this to be a totally interesting piece of artwork. There, nice. So let's resolve this final section. What colour? I'm squinting at it from a distance now. I'm going, what colour does this need? Here's this really opaque red. Smooth in. And here's some Caran Neocolor in the scarlet colour. And just over the top, and then smudge in, blend with your finger. Beautiful colour. Who would have thought it? Made for kids. Imagine we'd had these when we were kids. Goodness me. My bedroom wall would have been colourful, I tell you. Bit of grey over the top. This adds silver to give it the metallic finish. And blending in. And if you've got like an unresolved bit, I've got a bit of an unresolved bit there. Let's do a little bit of water on it. And there's Margot meowing again. Sorry about that. She will probably, if I go on to make other videos, she will feature heavily in the videos, I feel sure, because at my art class, which I have at my home, Margot often comes in and howls at my art class. She likes to let them know she's there. Oh, I've not used enough of this. I had it completely knocked to one side. This is the silver woody. Yeah, and I do need to use some of that. Look at that. He's a cool colour, isn't he? Pop him in. I'm trying to get this movement here of this bit. And it kind of, I think it needs to be darker there. Let's get this a bit more in. And then we'll get that darker bit in. I'm building myself up here for a bit where it's less coloured and it's a bit more grey. Let's get this lighter grey. the silver, more of the silver, and some white, because I'm trying to create this difference, you see. Let's get that white there, and maybe here. Okay, up here a bit. Here a bit. And shall we do a little bit here in black? The wrong thing. There we go. That's where it belongs. And oh, it's not quite dry enough yet. Oh, and I'm getting bits coming off. I think I've overworked the page a little bit. Let's flick any bits away. Pen's on the escape now. Ah, there we go. The woody, it can be relied upon to go over the top. Let's let that dry a little bit. Actually, it's probably got a bit saturated where it's not letting me put much more on top. Let's go down this end, finish this bit off here. It's looking fabulous, even if I do say so myself. And I like the way it's reflecting in areas. Just got a bit more to do down there. Peach. Let's not rush to finish it. Let's make sure it's good. It's like how we want it to be. It doesn't want to take that bit. Let's try this peach. Oh yeah, let's go for him. It's a bit yellow for this picture, this peach, but it's okay. We need to have balance because we've got some yellowy colour here, some yellowy colour here. We need to balance it, so we've got it spread out throughout the work. So it's okay to pop it there. It's okay to pop it here and blend it in. And just remember, we know that those woodies are going to go over the top if we give them a bit of time. That one is actually where that's too thick. It's just taking it off the page. Let's get rid of that bit. Yeah, it's a bit muddy. And this is my favourite bit, so I don't want it to be muddy. Not enough vibrancy or like change in colours. Loads and loads of bits coming off. Let's try and knock some of those off a bit and see if we can perhaps put some white over the top. And as it's water soluble, shall we see if it will let us just melt that a little bit and knock off some of these little bits that are occurring. There we go. Oh, it just needed a bit of water just to move it there. Let's not let the mud win though. What colour do we need there? I think white. Maybe a bit of red. Oh yeah, where it's muddy, put some red on. That's nice. Yep. Well, I'm trying to put my paintbrush away in my other lid. Okay, I think we're nearly there. This end, I'm just looking from above, and I think this end needs more orange. And blend. It's reaching the point where it's saying no more blending. This is so thick I can't take any more. so I have to do it with water, otherwise it won't let me. I think what I've enjoyed about this most is actually, because it's kind of got this swish, you can do these really lovely long marks. Yeah, I like that. Can we put any more in? What about this pale peach? Yeah, nice, I like it. Actually, that's a bit nicer because otherwise we're in real mud territory, aren't we? Some of this bit down here with the other peach. And we've gone all the way up to the edge as well nicely now. Oh, don't worry too much about those bits. They'll dry off nicely. Oh, there we go. Paint them in. Right, I think it might be done. I don't want to ruin it. This is unresolved. Bit of that colour. Oopsie, I just now ruined that because I just put my fingers in it and it's still very wet. Let's blend that in. Let's blend this in. Okay. I wonder if I really like this colour, but if I try and draw with it, it kind of dissolves. No, it's not having it even with a bit of water. Yeah, wet it just scrapes off, do you see? Yeah, I don't want to lose any more of that end. So I think I have to say to myself, my paper can take no more. And so therefore it's done. For now, it's done. Okay, wonderful. That's how to take a colour palette and an abstract piece of art and create something new with it. And I hope you really enjoyed my video, and hope to do another one soon for you to watch. Thanks very much. Bye.